Hey guys. It's hot in there. What's going on, everybody? I'm back with a brand new Spider-Man No Way Home review for you. So let me break it down, all right? Yesterday, Thursday, at 3 o'clock p.m. was my first time seeing this movie, and I was beyond excited, all right? And this movie did not disappoint. I was shocked at everything that happened in this movie. I had to process everything that happened the first time I saw it. I definitely needed to see it again, but it's kind of overwhelming because every second there's something happening, something major happening. It's just such a big movie, and there's so many moving parts and things going on, but it all works, right? It's very crazy and out there, but it all works. It all makes sense and feels real. And so I didn't want to really review this movie until I saw it a second time. And I just finished my second viewing today. It's Friday the 17th, opening night for No Way Home. First time I saw it was in Dolby. I love Dolby. I love the 3D sound. I think it's great. But this time I saw it in IMAX. And I gotta say, this experience with the IMAX, it was fantastic. I liked it better than the Dolby this time around. Something about it, just this movie felt like it was made to be seen in IMAX. Not sponsored by them or anything, but I'm just gonna be truthful with you guys. If you're gonna see this movie, see it in IMAX. Go all out, because this movie is worth it. This movie is worth the investment, that extra couple dollars, so you get a really nice movie experience. And if you're gonna see this movie, see it quick, because the theater experience, you want as many people in there as possible. Because the first time I saw this last night, it was without a doubt the best theater experience I've ever had in my life. It was insane. We were all equally super excited. We all heard about the predictions and the theories, and we were all so hyped up. And it's so easy to be disappointed when you're that hyped up, but this movie didn't disappoint. I've never really seen a movie do that, where you have these unreasonably high expectations and it still exceeds them because it gives you what you want. But on top of that, it gives you a real movie, a real story that's not afraid to get dark. It doesn't pull its punches. It's a real movie. It reminds me of the first Spider-Man back in 2002, where there were no soft edges. This movie expects you to be mature enough to handle these dark moments. There's also a lot of comedy, but the comedy doesn't overshadow the real drama, and the drama doesn't overshadow the comedy. It's a great balance, and I love when movies like this have a great balance of fun and joy, and also dark, real storytelling. This is the first of those MCU Spider-Man movies that really handled that balance. The first two, they lean way more into the comedic, lighthearted side, which is nothing wrong with that. Those are just the type of movies they are. But I personally much prefer this movie compared to those two, because it feels more real, because it's willing to take that leap toward being more emotional, more dramatic, but also still having that fun side. The first half is a little more fun. There's some serious stuff going on, but the second half goes in a really serious direction, and it's so good. If you've seen any other Spider-Man movie, you have to see this. This is the culmination of every single Spider-Man film ever made, put into one film. This is the end game of Spider-Man. Not just this Spider-Man, but the whole universe of Spider-Man. All these villains showing up. It should be called Spider-Man Closure, because every loose end in these 3 series is pretty much closed in such a nice way. I couldn't ask for a better end to not only Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but if this is the last Spider-Man movie ever made, I'd be happy, because there's nothing else I need from this character. This movie ended it pretty much. This is other than, Into the Spider-Verse with Miles, when it comes to Peter Parker, this is the ending that I feel is the most satisfying. And I don't really see how they can continue. I mean, they can. I'm sure they're doing, I hear that they're doing 3 more movies with Tom Holland, but this was such a perfect ending, and everything about it. There's tragedy, but it's not too dark. It's just enough, and you feel the emotion. Man, and it's easily my favorite of the Tom Holland films. And anyone who had a problem with his iteration being too light and comedic, or him not having an Uncle Ben really, this movie really speaks to those people that had a problem with that. They understand the criticism that people have had with this character, and it feels like this movie, they're like, let's just show them what we got. Like, let's pull all the stops, put everything we have into this last film. I know it's not the last film, but it feels like the last film. Like Endgame felt like the last film. This feels like the end, and you can feel so much passion and love for the character. This earns everything that it, like, it's just such a great movie. Like, it delivers on all fronts. Every single thing you want in a Spider-Man movie, this has. So go out and see it as fast as possible. All right? I'm not gonna spoil anything here, but it's been a while since I've seen a movie like this one. I'm in awe of how amazing this movie was. And my expectations were really high, and it exceeded them. The first time I saw it, I was still trying to get my head around everything that happened, but now that I knew what happened and I rewatched it, I love it even more. And that last screening was a great experience. The audience, everybody had the same energy. We were all clapping, we were loving it, you know? This screening today, people were a little more quiet, but people were still cheering. It's that type of movie where it knows it's wacky, it knows it's like bizarre and crazy, and Doctor Strange is involved, so of course it's gonna be strange, you know? But it just works so well, even though it's insane. It's such a good movie. It's everything I wanted out of a Spider-Man movie, out of an ending to Tom Holland's character for now, for this era of Tom Holland's character. Because this movie really feels like the end of the era that we know of Tom Holland and the beginning of something new. Man, I can't say enough good things about this movie. It's so good. It's like the perfect end to a series that I like, but this one's on a whole nother level, guys. This one's so much better than the last two. Like, it's crazy. There's so many villains. Remember Spider-Man 3 when there were too many villains? This movie has like 5, and they all fit. Like, they're all puzzle pieces. They all fit perfectly. It's just, every second of this movie has a meaning, and it never feels boring, even though it's 2 hours and 30 minutes long. This movie moves at such a nice pace. The comedy works for the most part. My 2 problems I had with it the first time I saw it, because I didn't know what to expect at all, only had 2 minor problems. The first one, I thought, you saw him in the trailer, I thought the Lizard's animation looked kind of weak. Like, he didn't look very good. And I still think he needed a little more time to render out, but in IMAX, for some reason, he looked better in IMAX than he did in Dolby. So like, maybe that's something with the screen or the lighting, I don't know, but he looked a little better this time. Maybe I was expecting him to look bad because of the first time I saw it, but he didn't look as bad this time around. I don't know why. And the second minor problem I had the first time I saw this movie was I thought some of the banter was a little long, and certain characters are, you know, joking around, and it's like, I want this scene, but it feels like it's a little long, and like it kind of stops the momentum of the dramatic stuff that just happened, and it's like the banter's kind of, you know, it's kind of overstaying its welcome. But seeing it again, I knew I had that in my head, and I was really looking to see if I still had that problem, and I don't really. I mean, there are scenes where, you know, there's a lot of banter and there's a lot of comedy, but it works. It worked a lot more the second time I saw it because I knew what to expect. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about this movie, guys. You guys got to see it as fast as possible. Why are you still watching this? Go out and watch Spider-Man No Way Home. It's the best. It's amazing. Went so many different directions. It's great. When you watch this movie once, you're gonna want to see it again because it delivers on everything you want, not only in a Spider-Man movie, but in a movie. It's probably, I don't even know how to rank this, you know? Like, is it better than Spider-Man 2? Is it better than Spider-Verse? I don't know. They're so different. These movies are so different. But this is my favorite movie of the year. You know, this is a very special film. I never had this experience before in a theater. It's just, my theater experience, man, it was great. Everything about this movie was great, and I just hope that you have a similar experience with this movie. I hope you stay away from any of the spoilers. You'll still love this movie even if you're spoiled, but man, this movie is a treat for anyone who's ever seen a Spider-Man movie in their life. Man, like, this movie is everything you could possibly hope for. I hope you go out and see it, support this film. I hope this breaks all the records, the pandemic records, when it comes to box office, and I hope that it makes all the money it can because this movie deserves it. This movie deserves it. Out of the 4 Marvel movies this year, this is the only one I care about. Even though I like the other ones, this one is special. This one means something to me. And it's man, like, I felt this way with Encanto, where it's like, it was a really good movie and I walked out really happy. This movie, I feel the same way. I feel happy. This movie promises even more greatness to come, despite feeling like a great ending, kind of like Endgame. But I think this is better than Endgame. I like this more than Endgame because Spider-Man means more to me than the Avengers did. So go out and watch this movie. I'm a huge fan of Spider-Man, and this movie delivered. I had huge expectations, and it somehow exceeded them. So don't be afraid to be excited. Get excited, get as excited as you can, because this movie thrives on hype. This movie thrives on you knowing the villains and everything that they've been involved in. So rewatch those movies, because that's what I did. And go out and see this movie as soon as possible, because you will love it. I think you will love it. I can't see many people having a big problem with this movie. Like, it does, you're gonna like at least one thing in this movie. You know, there's at least one thing that's gonna grab you. And I remember the first time I watched it, halfway through I just got lost in it. I forgot I was even in a theater. And then the second time it happened again. There's like a scene in the middle, I'm not gonna say what it is, but it involves Doctor Strange. And they're really playing with the visuals, you know? And I remember just getting lost in the movie. And like at the same moment, like the halfway mark, it's just like this movie is a ride. It's a thrill ride. It's an emotional roller coaster, but it's also such a fun experience. So go out and watch this movie today if you can. And take as many people as you want, because this movie, it aims to please, and that's what it does, all right? So go watch it, all right? And maybe we can talk spoilers. Let me know if you want to see a spoiler video where I just go off with all the spoilers and talk about all the details and everything. You know, I can't really think of any critiques with this movie. Like, this movie, it checked all the boxes, and it did it in such a skillful way. You can tell a real filmmaker was behind this film, a real person who understood these characters and knew how to make it cinematic and emotional. It was a great movie, guys. It was a great movie. And yeah, it was so special to see this movie. I loved it even more the second time. This is a 10 out of 10 for me, guys. Go watch this movie, please. It's so good. It's so good. All right, guys. See you guys next time. Subscribe. Bye.